Most murder trials begin with a body, a weapon, or a confession. But what happens when you have none of them? How do you prove a crime even happened when the evidence is invisible? In legal terms, this is the challenge of corpus delicti, the body of the crime. Without physical proof that a death occurred, a homicide investigation can be paralyzed before it ever reaches a courtroom. When 15-year-old Jade Colvin vanished in March 2017, the system categorized her as a chronic runaway. Because she had a history of fleeing foster homes, authorities assumed she was successfully avoiding discovery. Jade survived on the run by using functional aliases like Samantha Hollis and Kara Stevens. Her entire world was built on maintaining a secret, relentless social media presence to stay connected with her biological mother. Jade's total dependence on the internet turned the typical logic of a disappearance on its head.
For a fugitive who relies on staying connected to stay safe, absolute digital silence is a glaring indicator of foul play. This chart shows Jade's activity in the spring of 2017. The data is vibrant, showing constant pings, logins, and messages. Then, on March 30th, the frequency hits 0. It never moves again. Child welfare agencies treated her as a fugitive who simply went off the grid. But for years, her family watched a void of outgoing data as their own messages piled up, unread and unanswered. This created a unique investigative tension. Investigators had to establish a death using only data, in a system designed to look for physical remains. In 2020, the U.S. Marshals Operation Homecoming reactivated the case. A digital audit of Jade's last known communications led them to this remote 400-acre farm south of Decorah, Iowa. The property belonged to James Backmersky Sr. He had been dating Jade's mother, who had sent her daughter to the farm to stay under the radar of Child Protective Services. Backmersky was a man with a documented history of domestic sadism. Court records show he had previously been arrested for torturing his own teenage sons with an electric cattle prod. During a 2013 arrest, Backmersky made a specific, terrifying boast. He told his children he could murder them and bury them in the backyard, and no one would ever know. The foster care system's failure to track Jade didn't just lose her in the bureaucracy, it funneled a vulnerable child directly into an isolated environment controlled by a known predator. By 2022, Backmersky had moved to Georgia, but he left his past behind in Iowa. While clearing out the property, investigators learned he had hidden a box of personal belongings inside a neighbor's storage barn. Hidden inside that box was an old, discarded cell phone. Polishing the digital record, investigators found photos of Jade at the farm during a bonfire. They were also able to pin her final outgoing text message to exactly 12:15 a.m. on March 30. The phone also revealed a deliberate cover-up. Backmersky had selectively deleted the desperate incoming texts from Jade's family members who were trying to find her. The most jarring evidence was a pair of photos taken days after Jade vanished. They showed a kitchen and bedroom that were meticulously cleaned, a pristine, sterile state that key witnesses testified was completely out of character for the notoriously filthy house. When Special Agent John Turbick confronted him with these findings, Backmersky provided a chilling response. "I'd go to the grave before I tell the truth." These artifacts, the timeline stop, the deleted messages, and the sanitized room photos, transformed the runaway theory into the active forensics of a homicide cleanup. In 2025, prosecutors brought Backmersky to trial for murder without a weapon, a confession, or a physical body. They relied entirely on the digital record. The core of their argument was groundbreaking. For a modern teenager, digital death, the sudden, permanent loss of an online network, is evidence of physical death. The defense pointed to Jade's history as a runaway. They produced a handwritten plan she had written in 2016, arguing she had simply succeeded in her goal to change her identity and disappear. Prosecutors countered this by framing the cell phone photos of the spotless bedroom as evidence of a crime scene being meticulously scrubbed to destroy forensic traces. This strategy forced the jury to accept a new reality. In the 21st century, the absence of data can be as conclusive as a physical corpse. The jury agreed. They found Backmersky guilty of second-degree murder, resulting in a 50-year sentence for the 66-year-old predator. The foster care system failed to monitor Jade in life,
But the digital trail she left behind ultimately provided the evidence to convict her killer. Despite the conviction, Jade Colvin's physical remains have never been found. The search for her location continues. Jade's case redefines forensics for the modern era. It proves that even when a physical body is destroyed, a digital ghost can still testify from beyond the grave.